Alright, 1 week later. How much have I practiced? Not nearly as much as I hoped to. I basically just spent the last hour practicing to make up for the lack of practice over the last week. Hopefully I'm warmed up now. No, I just recorded this. I can talk a little bit about what I'm doing now. So what's changed since last time? I think in some ways I might actually have more difficulty now, because of some changes I've been making to how I'm approaching things, but on the whole I think it should be for the better. So you'll see now that I'm actually starting to finally break down and memorize patterns. But one tricky thing is I haven't learned any patterns, and I'm also looking ahead. I was about to hit those blues with the big Puyo I had, but I decided, wait, it would be more useful to yellow here. And I think I actually lost control of what I was doing for a second there. I completely lost control of what I was doing at the beginning here. So this isn't a very good example. I was starting with an actual pattern there that I then completely lost any understanding of. Case in point, that happens sometimes. Unfortunately. I'm still not quite in a position of total comfort with this. And what's more is that once I set up my big... Jeez, what is fish doing over there? Once I set up my big combo and I set it off, I have no idea what to do afterwards. I'm not used to cleaning things up afterwards. This time I happen to get lucky with a few things, but at the same time, if you're consistently lucky, it gets to the point where you're not lucky anymore. That status pattern right here that I just got, that the game gave to me, can be activated from either side, which is cool. It's convenient because it saved me. I couldn't activate it from the left. This was an interesting rationale, and it was a fairly long one. And it's actually a really good demonstration of how Fever works in terms of the length of the chains it gives you. Because you might wonder, what determines the length of the chain that you get in Fever? Because that makes a big difference. And the main influence is actually, I've mentioned this a little bit before, it's how you performed previously in other Fevers. So here you can see I had 7 chains set up there, or I successfully pulled off a 7 chain. And I believe my next Fever is going to be an 8 chain because of it. Right there, I looked on the right, I thought to myself, wait a minute, it messed up on the Fever. I was trying to kill him in the Fever there when I went for another match right there. But unfortunately it didn't work out another match. That's another thing I'm trying to start doing. Paying a little bit more attention to my opponent. Because that's a big part of Puyo. Knowing what your opponent's doing, knowing the right time to strike, to disrupt them as much as possible, and to know when they're vulnerable. Because what I should have noticed right there, and I did it just a little too late, was that Prince was very vulnerable for a second there in Fever, and it was a very good opportunity to just kill them in there. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. And now I'm basically just doing whatever willingly, unfortunately. I'm kind of, in some cases, thinking to myself, could I get an all clear again? Because that's useful. But it's not really working out that way. Here I just kind of have to eat a Puyo, or a garbage Puyo set. But I've already worked up most of my Fever again. And here we go, more Fever. But now, so let's count the combo that I get here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now this one's probably going to be 9, I believe. It usually increases by 1 each time you do it successfully. Unless you get an all clear, in which case it increases by 2. And yet, Prince is still going too, because Prince also got Fever at about the same time. But that also means if you mess up any Fevers, ever, things really get bad. I recognize here, oh hey, I can set up a mysterious pattern. There's a very inflexible pattern, so it turns out to work out that well. I mentioned it can work here. I figured, you know what, let's just shoot it off right now. I could have tried to add one more column to it, I didn't. And he got through alive, and actually managed to just put most of it off. There we go, but I still managed to get something there, and get an all clear again. All clear in my mind is mostly just luck, but again, if you're getting luck consistently, I guess that's more than just luck at that point. I oftentimes feel like whenever I win this game, it's through luck and cheapness, but I don't know. If that's how I always win, then maybe it's because I'm actually doing something right. I don't know. So I think first thing I'll do this episode is I'll just try to show off some of the things I've been learning. Namely sandwiches. See if I can do those consistently, which I don't promise. But we'll see. I guess we're going to the right here. No, we are. Okay. Let's do something a little bit more interesting here. Can I go on the right there? I think I can. Is that actually a bad idea? Sorry for pausing. I realize this is kind of a cheating thing, but the point here is to show you how this thing works. May have made him a kind of a color mishap, though. I think I did. Oh, no, the issue here is with that yellow on the right. I shouldn't have two yellows there. 1 second. Shoot. Now I need another yellow. There. Okay, hold on. Can we get something? Can I get what we need here for a second, please? I don't think it's gonna happen. Cool. That's just gonna cause bad things. Well, one of the nice things about nice chain setups is that sometimes, even if you mess them up, you'll get an actual chain out of them. Okay, so now I'm in that position where, okay, I have no idea what I'm doing. But, as practice, what I think I'll do here is say, okay, but what can we... Oh, the answer is no. I was going to ask, can we bring out something practical here? But the answer was no. I was going to see if I could... Yeah, the annoying thing is these things start to speed up, which doesn't happen in normal Puyo, or normal... whatever you may call it. It's a thing with... I wish there was an endless Puyo version that just didn't get more difficult. I'm sorry, I keep hitting fast forward between the menus, if I have it. Let's see if we can fix this again. Okay, so I want a yellow there. This actually isn't really working out, I don't think. No. I'm in a position where right now I'm trying to demonstrate a very specific pattern anyways. So if I don't get the right Puyo, there's just not much I can do. Something like this, perhaps? Something like that. What do we need here? Well, yes, that is what I want. Let's put that here now. Now... I don't know about anything that works there. I think there's something weird happening on the left. Oh yes, there is. Ah! Alright, those two yellows on the bottom left shouldn't be there. Again, if I was doing these more effectively, it would be very obvious from the beginning what is, or at least really quickly, what is I'm trying to do on these. But unfortunately, that's quite what happens. And now I see no way to salvage this game. Darn, I had a good start there. So, and these are under easing conditions that I'm trying to do this. So this is not a pattern I've been able to manage to actually do out on the field, as I'm making fairly obvious here. That's a useful one I want to show off because it introduces the concept of choice. happening that I'm not sure that I actually like. Whoops. So, what I'm trying to do requires a very particular setup. So there are two types of what you might call a sandwich, and I've done a few of those before, and actually I do them pretty consistently. But there are two types of them, and you can switch between them with a certain type of construction, and it's not actually that hard. It's just, for some reason, I have a hard time remembering, I guess I might say. Okay, now I've got a good start on it. This. I need a red down there, so I'll actually make a chain. Okay, so now let's pause. What's going to happen here? So unfortunately, every chain here is going to be something different, so it's a little hard to follow. But you see, I'm going to set this up by putting something into the yellow there on the right. I'm going to connect those 3 yellows. And what's going to happen is that's going to open up a space between the reds, occupied by the leftmost yellow piece right now. That will then set off the blues in turn, because the blue Puyo on top will fall. Then that'll set off in turn the greens, and then the reds on the far left. So what type of constructs are these? So the reds on the right, those are what are called a sandwich. Well, you call it 2-on-1 sandwich because you count it from the bottom up. You have 2 red Puyos, 1 yellow, and then 1 red. This is the way I constructed this. Basically, you just have 4 Puyos, but you have a column of 4 Puyos, but one of them, the 3 Puyo off the ground, is shifted to the left or right. So then once the one on the top drops, then they'll connect and make a match. Then the Puyo that's sticking out on the side, in this case on the left, can also abstract another match somewhere else, in this case the match that will be made by the blues. So once the reds go off, that'll also set off the blues. The blues are what's called a 3-0-1 sandwich, which is for switching between the 2-on-1 sandwich I just described and a 1-1-2. An example here of a 1-1-2 sandwich is what we see with the greens on the left. The topmost green, the one that's 5 Puyo off the ground, that one doesn't need to be there. But once that blue in column 3 pops, then the greens will make a match. It's the same idea as with the reds, the first chain with the reds on the far right, but instead of moving the Puyo 3 blocks up, or 3 Puyo up from the ground to the side, we move the 2 Puyo off the ground to the side. So that blue construction right there in the middle, that 3-0-1 sandwich we call it, that one is what lets us switch between a 2-on-1 and a 1-1-2. Because otherwise, this pattern here that the red is in, on the right, that one can actually repeat indefinitely. You can just copy that and paste that exact same configuration multiple times. But it's going to have flexibility. And that's what you want to be able to have that chain for. Or that, I don't know what I called it. I want to get rid of this. There we go. That's what I wanted. See, I need to get practice cleaning things up like that. Unfortunately, do I have a good place to put anything right here? Yes, I do. This time though, I'm not sure I do. Yeah, so I tend to have a very hard time cleaning up after myself after I make one match, unfortunately. As you can see. I can get close, like see, we have something orderly here. Was that any better? Not necessarily. And what do we want now here? I don't think I can go anywhere useful. I don't think. We can make this go left or right now. So let's make it go to the left instead of the right. Let's make it have it go one direction, now it's going in the other. Keeping track of which directions your chains can go in is a tricky thing sometimes. Because sometimes you have multiple options without necessarily realizing it. Here we want that, I believe. Wait. No, we don't. We want that, though. Yes. I also forgot we need a green here. And green elsewhere too, though, actually. Need a green here. So now what we have here, what we almost have here. There we go. Sometimes oops, I didn't mean to place that one the way I did. At times I accidentally, don't finish a chain and I try to set it off. So what we have here now, you can see this is a repeating 2-on-1 chain, just going to the left. So you have, I'm going to fill in that yellow on the right. In fact, there we go. And now that's going to allow those greens just to the left of it to connect. And then we just have that same pattern repeating over and over. So we have 4 greens, a column of 4 greens, but one of them shifted to the left. Then we have a column of 4 blues, but one of them shifted to the left, a column of 4 greens, then blues, and then that sets off another red at the end. So that's an easy repeat, recurring pattern. Yeah. In that case, I cheated the heck out of that, but the point is just to show that particular type of combo. But I do sometimes in actual Puyo, or actual competition, manage to set off up 4 or 5 chains sometimes, which is kind of cool. But not super consistently. It's tricky and there's a lot that goes into it. Part of it being that those sorts of constructions, unfortunately, for the most part, except for the 301 pattern, none of them are actually very friendly to getting 3 of the same color Puyo. If you get like an L-shaped or an elbow-shaped triplet of Puyo, it's because these are largely designed with older Puyo games where you only ever get doubles of Puyos or couples of Puyos at once. It's a little trickier in this game where you get more Puyo at once. But oh well, you have to figure things out somewhere, somehow, sometime. So I'll see you guys next time, next episode, when what we'll do is we will actually say how to our bus, basically. Can I complete this? I don't know. I'm probably, strictly speaking, will be painful probably, but there's nothing else to do right now, I don't think. So, unless you want to just like twiddle our thumbs doing some kind of endless Puyo or something like that, I think that's the next thing to do. Unless you want to warm up with Run or Waku Waku. I might do Run for a warm up, maybe. I don't know. Or free battle? Probably not. We'll see. Anyways, we'll do something next episode. It's not just what I did this episode. Bye, everyone.